Hey everyone, in the last video, we have seen how to build an idea manager app using both Gemini and ChatGPT. And let me briefly show you what we could build. This was built by Gemini and this was built by ChatGPT. Now, what I'm going to share in this small video is that in that video we were focusing on our first thought of the prompt, which is also known as zero shot prompt. And what exactly it means is that it responds based on their pre-training, based on those respective models pre-training. What exactly is the meaning of pre-training? Pre-training means whatever training those models went through before their launch. And let us do a small question asking those respective tools what was their pre-training before for the versions that we are using right now, what was their pre-training? At which year or which month? Okay, so let us start a new chat and I'm going to ask it, when were you last trained? And this particular question's answer usually changes from different models, or they also change based on whether you are logged in into their respective tools or not. So in both of these tools, I have already logged in. Let us see what they say. Gemini is telling that its prior knowledge is from 2024 and 2025, and they don't have specific training on real-time information, that is current information, but because they are connected with other tools, through that tools they can access the current information. So in Gemini there is an option available called deep research. If you enable this deep research, it can try to access new information or the latest current information from the news. The same thing is available in ChatGPT as well. As you can see, ChatGPT is telling that its current model is 5.2, which was based on the training done in August 2025. So once again, this training data is old, and whatever responses it is giving, that information is coming from somewhere around late 2025 in both the cases. So let me briefly tell you what exactly these LLM are, these particular tools are. So very broadly speaking, imagine black box, let us call it as large language model, or both the Gemini and ChatGPT come under the umbrella of the models called as large language models. So very broadly speaking, they are the kind of software tools which are artificial intelligence models which were trained by large amounts of textual content from the internet or from the books or all the data that we could create as humans, and that information is kind of put together and trained these artificial intelligence or machine models. And how they work, you need not worry about how they work at all. To be frank, if you want to dig deeper and find out how a particular language model has given a response based on your prompt, finding that will be a very time consuming, and there is no guarantee that you be able to even get to that particular trace back the logic pattern or not. That's very difficult. But as a user, as a beginner, how can you understand these models is that all you have to do is these black boxes take a prompt in the sense whatever you want to ask, and based on that prompt they kind of give you a response. That is something that you have already experienced with your own experiments with these models. Okay, so going ahead, let me briefly tell you what exactly these large language models are and how do they work. This particular image is generated by NotebookLM, which is another application by Google. And what broadly but I'm trying to convey here is that I'm taking an example of ChatGPT 3, and ChatGPT 3 was trained on 45 terabytes of memory or terabytes of text content. Try to understand 45 terabytes of text content is equivalent to 175 million words, and that's huge. And based on that much amount of data, this ChatGPT 3 was trained, and this particular training data is kind of trained in the format of something called transformer architecture. You need not go that deep. If you want to explore, you can explore on your own. Very broadly speaking, it is just an deep artificial neural network. And what is it trained for? What is the goal of that particular training is that it had to just predict the next word based on the words that you are giving or based on the sentence you are giving. You just have to predict the next word. And based on that training alone, this particular model of ChatGPT were was used to build very beautiful applications like intelligent chatbots, or maybe automatic content generation, which is currently being used by lots of content creators, and also for software development. That means for generating code, which is also in turn just a text. Okay, so very broadly speaking, that is how LLMs are working. Then, if LLMs are trained on 45 terabytes, which is just a GPT-3 version, which is few years back, but current GPT 5.2 or maybe Gemini 3.1 could be trained on much more amounts of data, most probably in petabytes of data. Then if that much of data is being involved in training these models, then why do they sometimes fail, just like what we have already seen in ChatGPT's response of the previous idea manager application that we have seen. It is actually not doing a very good job, as we have already seen. So why this particular model has failed, or this particular application has failed, is because our prompt was not good enough. Okay, the input that we have given is not good enough. I want you to imagine it like this. Imagine that there is a person, there is an expert who has close to 20-25 years of experience building applications, working on solving real world problems, talking to clients and trying to understand their requirements, converting that requirements into software solutions. And they have very deep knowledge in software development, artificial intelligence, and the domain knowledge of those respective domains where they have worked on. Very deep and wide knowledge in so many aspects. Imagine that particular expert as your LLM, your large language model, which knows a lot. All of these are different examples of those large language models which are already famous, and these are not the only ones. There are so many others as well. Now, coming to the idea that if such a system or such a person exists, and you are asking a very simple question like, what is artificial intelligence? Then such a person will not be capable of answering something to such a small question or such a simple question, because that person has a very deep and wide knowledge in based on their 20-25 years of experience. And so they will try to give an answer which may not reach your expectation, because they don't know exactly what your background is, what is your current situation. They don't know you, they don't know anything about you. And that is the reason why the answer that is coming from this particular person may not reach your expectation. And that is the exact problem we face when we try to prompt any particular LLM with a very simple prompt that we have done in the previous video. So what exactly is the idea here is that if your prompt is not good, then there is a chance that the response will not be good as well, because your LLM will try to be as wide as possible, because it will not know what you are expecting, and so it will try to reach majority of the audience, and so the responses are usually very broad. So a lot of suggestions or guidelines are given by lots of companies, especially the companies that are backing these language models, like Gemini is backed by Google and ChatGPT is backed by OpenAI, or all of the other LLM models that are available. They have clear guidelines on how to design your prompts. And one of the most common suggestion that is given by any of these companies is called context. That means you have to add context to your prompt. You have to add some essence of what you are, what is your background, how this LLM should behave, what kind of role that particular LLM should take. And can you give any examples? Are you putting any restrictions, any limitations? Do you want to give any response format, or how the LLM should respond, in what tone, and what kind of reasoning it should apply? And all of that comes under the context. And if you add that context into your prompt, you are improving the quality of the prompt, and so you are also improving the quality of the response you will be getting from your LLM. So let us see an example what I mean by all this. So let me design a prompt right away. Let us say I want to give it a role first of all, and then I will give it the context of what it is trying to build, and I will also give it some limitations. I will not be including all the context that I just mentioned, but maybe few of them. Let us see whether this particular prompt does a better job than the zero shot prompt that we have tried earlier. So let us say I'm saying you are a seasoned software developer with an experience software for enterprises and startups in various sectors. And I also want to give it, this is role setting, and then I want to give something like what it has to build, which is the context. So I want you to build a web app. I'm saying it is an online web application that works like a personal idea manager. So here I am very clearly specifying that it is a personal idea manager. It is not something for the teams or for organizations. So personal idea manager, which looks and behaves similar to a professional idea manager, not an idea manager. Let us say a professional project manager, like maybe Jira, ClickUp, Monday. This is what I'm expecting. What is the expected output or the response format? And I also want to put some kind of a restriction, some kind of a limitation, saying must have way to read and track the user's ideas, and need not have any collaboration features, which are very usual in these tools like Jira or ClickUp. And it must be user friendly. User friendly user interface. Okay, that's it for now. Let me try this particular prompt and let us see what kind of response both of these tools will be giving. Let me try them out in Gemini first. Let me start a new chat, and I will also enable Canvas as I did earlier, and then put the prompt here, and then I'll also change it to, okay, for now we'll continue with the fast mode only, and then I'm clicking hitting enter, and then I'm going to ChatGPT, and here also I am changing it to Canvas mode, and then I'm pasting the prompt, going okay, it is creating the app, unlike in the last time where it was only showing the code or the instructions. And for Gemini also, it is doing a job. It is also already creating a React application, which is the most common way of responding to a web application using these tools. So it has created something. Now this is very different than what it has created earlier. It has also given some examples, and it is using the tools, or it is using the terms which are usually used in project management tools. So it is using the term like backlog, refining, and whether it is done or not, in progress, stuff like that. If I go to the list, it has added a few of the features, and it has provided a navigation menu on the left side. It has provided a button to create a new idea. Okay, it is somewhat looking like the way usually project management tools look like. So I can also search for the idea. Okay, it seems the search button is not working, and the categories button is not working. The dashboard is the only one working. Fine, good. Let's go to the ChatGPT. ChatGPT also has completed its job. Let's preview it, and let us check how it is working. Okay, it is initializing the environment. Okay, fine. It has also given few other details. Okay, it is definitely better than the previous version, but still ChatGPT is not doing such a great job. Maybe ChatGPT needs much more better prompting based on the ChatGPT's prompting guide. Let me show you both of the prompting guides for your reference. Just go to Google and search for Gemini prompt guide, as well as you can search for ChatGPT prompt guide. And you see OpenAI is providing a prompting guide for ChatGPT, as well as Google is providing a Gemini 3 prompting guide. One thing that I have learned from my experiments is that it is the prompting techniques change from model to model or the company to company because they have been trained differently. And so if you are following the prompting guide by their respective companies, it always gives better results rather than sticking to one single prompt technique for every single model. That's it for now, guys. We'll meet again in the next video.